Team me, God.
I would just tell you we're in a much improved situation at a lot of positions than we were a year ago this time. Quarterback being the main focal point during camp. We all know that. You've been asking. Everybody's wanting to know. Can't go anywhere. People want to know who the starting quarterback is. I get that. But I'll tell you this. I've been highly impressed by the improvement and the competition at this position. And I think it's the growth in 1 year from John Stephen Jones that he's shown us and has shown his teammates is in the track that he's on having an incredible career here. KJ Jefferson, his athleticism, as we've all seen, we all knew that coming in, and his playmaking ability is well ahead of where we thought he would be as a true freshman coming in here in just a short 3 weeks of camp. So his starting point was definitely much higher, and his growth through camp has shown great promise. Everything's earned in this program, nothing's given, and Ben has earned the right to start and will be our starter week 1 going into Portland State, Ben Hicks. The competition between Ben and Nick has been impressive, to say the least, over 3 weeks. Nick has done a great job and has picked up the offense in a few short weeks and has an incredible skill set. And we're excited to watch his continued growth and knowledge of this offense and the understanding of this offense in weeks to come. But we feel very confident in Ben and his complete overall knowledge, as you would expect. Ben has been in this offense for 3 years. Been here since January. Nick has been in this offense for 3 weeks. But to see the growth of what Nick has done over 3 weeks has been extremely impressive. I think Ben has an incredible command for everyone and where everyone should be. We're going to play a lot of young guys, and that alone was the main deciding factor. Is his ability to know where everybody's supposed to be able to get our offensive line in the right protection and do it at a pace to where the game, because of his experience, is a little bit slower. So experience and the knowledge of the offense.
Welcome in. It's On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio. It's our Tuesday edition of On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio, coming to you here on KDSJ 479, Monday through Friday from 1 to 2 p.m. And we had a slight tech issues that we had to take care of. Sorry for the late start, but we're here, raring to go, and we got a lot of information, and we're going to catch up. Let's get this thing started right off. Arkansas announced his quarterback yesterday. Ben Hicks will take the first snap at 3 o'clock in Donald W. Reynolds Razorback Stadium. I know a lot of people want to talk about it, and we want to talk about it too, so what better way than to catch up with our good buddy of the Arkansas Democrat Gazette, Scotty Borland. Scotty, welcome to OTH, my man.
Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Arkansas came out with the starting quarterback. A lot of social media backlash yesterday when the announcement came out. Where are you at, Scotty, with the starting quarterback? Do you feel Chad made the right decision?
Oh man, I don't know that it's right for me to say whether it was the right or wrong decision. You know, like, I'm not the coach. I just kind of there to report what happened. And you know, I think Chad and Joe Craddock both spoke to the reason why they went with Ben Hicks, because obviously, you know, they choose their guy. There's obviously a reason for it. And I think, I was kind of saying this, but back in the spring, I think Ben's going to have the leg up in fall camp because Nick Starkel wasn't going to get to campus until May or June. And Ben already has the system knowledge, and he's got the experience in the offense. He's had it for 3 years. He played he started under Chad for 2 years, and then he's been here since January. So I think that really gave him a big leg up, and I don't know if we really took that into as serious consideration as we should have. Some of us, anyway, like back in the spring. But that definitely, I think, gave him a leg up. And there's Arkansas. They're planning on playing a lot of young guys, a lot of true freshmen, especially at the skill positions. So that system knowledge, I think, Ben being able to get guys in the right spots at the right time, get the ball in their hands quick. I think, and Chad said it, that was obviously the deciding factor.
Getting back on to the playmakers, Arkansas has quite the playmakers. When you check out that 2D chart, Mike Woods, Davion Warren, Cheyenne O'Grady, Grayson Gunner, Chase Harrell, Burks, Jackson, Morris, Knox, Jackson. You see where we're going? Boyd, Whaley, Hayden, Spivey. In my estimation, and I don't know if you feel the same way, Scotty, I'm of the belief if the quarterback can just manage the game and get the ball to these playmakers. Now, this is a young group. 9 freshmen, 5 on the offense, 2 starting freshmen. Talk about that, and like you said, Chad said that would be something that Ben could really get those guys, lined up. How big will that be on Saturday for these guys? Because this is their first true time of being in front of 60,000 plus.
Oh, for sure. And there's a huge difference in making plays during spring practice, like Trey Knox did. And like we saw what Trey Knox was capable of, I think, a little bit in the spring game when he broke loose for a touchdown. But again, that's going against your own guys. I guess kind of a little bit late in the day in the spring game. But there's a huge difference in doing it, when there's no real consequences, I guess,
right.
to there's no real consequences in the situation you're in compared to actually game day experience. Having, like you said, however many people in the stands, having it actually count, and the game actually counts now. So these guys are. It's gonna be different. Like these guys they're playmakers, and I think they probably believe that they were born for this and they're ready for this. But it's a lot different when you're when it actually matters. And you're coming off the season that you did. People want some immediate results, and we'll see if it happens. And I'm not going to be surprised if it does happen on Saturday. Portland State's not exactly the stiffest competition, but yeah, I expect some of the freshmen to move up and play well. But then right after that, you kind of got to put what you did on Saturday behind you and get ready for your first SEC game. That's when things start to really get serious.
Which leads into my next question. They've had 18 days of camp, 19 days, and leading into game week. We've seen these freshmen, Traylon, Mateus Soley, Jalen Catalon. A lot of these freshmen, Ricky Stromborg, Bo Limmer on the offensive line have really, really flashed throughout the entire camp. And when you talk about these freshmen, they're going to come in. Chad stated that when they recruited these kids, this is what they were expecting to have, the upwards of 12 or more, having a major impact on this team with 18 seniors. And when you look at the roster, Scotty, offensively, you're only going to really factor in out of that 18, about 5 or 6 of those guys that play major parts in this offense. How big is it Saturday for the young guys to get out like a Trey or a Traylon, and have a big game in game one to kind of get the jitters out of the way?
Yeah, I think that's what Saturday is for everybody. Just kind of get the jitters out of the way, get the freshmen, get their feet wet. All they've done, and not even all of them, just like Trey Knox, like Traylon Burks, he's only been on campus for the summer, and so he didn't go through the spring game. So there's going to be obviously a little bit of jitters there too. He's slotted to start at the 5 spot at receiver, and he's also projected to start at punt return. So there's definitely going to be some jitters there, but it'll be good for him to just kind of get thrown out there immediately. I think it'll be, I don't think Arkansas is going to have much problem staying away, so that put in at ease maybe a little bit. But you definitely won't get these guys some seed and get plenty of it for them. Your first 5 weeks, I feel like your first 4 or 5 weeks that you're well, season and just the trajectory that it could go. So they're gonna play a big part, especially as like Traylon Burks and Trey Knox. If they can get Trey back healthy by Wednesday, and I'm even curious about T.J. Jackson. That coaches have just drooled over his speed in the preseason, and I think it's just kind of a thing about grasping the offense. They knew there would be a little bit of a learning curve with TQ, but when he knows what he's doing, it doesn't step. So there's nobody on the field that can keep up with him. So it'll be big. You want to get some of those guys who think that can contribute right away. You want to get their feet wet and kind of get them a little bit more comfortable.
The thing that jumped out to me also too offensively is the size of the offensive lineman, and what I mean by size is the length. You look at the offensive line for 2019. It seems like each and every guy, backup or starter, is hovering around that 6'4", 6'5", and taller. But they've dropped a lot of weight. One that I've mentioned, and I know you've heard me say it over at the practice field and here on the show. It's Dalton Wagner starting right tackle. Talk about the versatility, and the guys seem to be moving a lot better with the loss of the big weight. Yeah. Are you still there, Scotty?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, talk about the offensive line and the weight loss, and the size, because I'm seeing more length on the offensive line, under Coach Morris.
It is night and day different than a few years ago when Brett Bill was here, right? Like the heaviest offensive lineman projected to start as a 304. And so, I think that kind of shows you about what kind of work these guys do in the offseason with Jermaine Carroll. And I think just like the way that these linemen, they attack training, like you want them to be athletic and then drop it with weight while maintaining like your strength. I think is a big thing, and it makes them a lot more versatile. And so I think that they'll be able to hold up, over the course of the game, over the course of an SEC season, which can be very physically demanding. But yeah, I think like it's just, you're right. I was looking at the weight, and I got the depth chart pulled up, and these guys look like, I wouldn't call them slim, but I feel like they're pretty trim. Like these guys, like they look like they look like it, and you kind of get the sense that they're in pretty good game shape. So yeah, I think this versatility of that group kind of stands out. And, yeah, I'm just kind of ready to see if Arkansas can get off on the right footing in the run game on Saturday, and if they can give Ben Hicks a clean pocket to throw out of, and whoever comes in behind Hicks, they can kind of keep them off their back. So that's something I'll be looking at.
Also, too, when you flip over to the defensive side of the ball, Chief spoke with us yesterday. He feels real good about this defense, and he made a note. I believe there was a question about, his good defenses. And Chief alluded to say, when he has the same guys at linebacker that he starts in spring ball and can carry that over into the fall season, those have been the, very, very good defense that he's been a part of. Tennessee, Texas A&M, Arkansas, multiple places that he's been. Talk about just that front, because when I look at it, Scotty, you have to feel good about your senior dominated front four in Dorian Gerald, T.J. Smith, Sosa, and Gabe Richardson. Also, too, you look, and there's a lot of guys, more seniors. Jamario Bell will be taking a lot of reps at defensive end. True freshman Mateo Soli, and those inside guys. John Marshall is a guy that's played a lot of football, and one that Coach Scott really talked about before he moved on to South Carolina was Isaiah Nichols and how he came on in those last two regular season games of 2018. Talk about that front. And if you're John Chavison, if you're Coach Morris, you have to feel good about what you have in that 8-man rotation.
Yeah, I think you feel pretty solid about your front four, and it's senior heavy. Like every guy on that defensive line is a senior, and I feel like they've all got something to prove.
Right.
Like Dorian Jones didn't have the greatest year last year. He knows that. He dropped a bunch of weight, and he looks like he's in pretty good physical shape. Gabe Richardson is a guy that, like, every year, every year that, at least that I've been covering the team, it's like, when is Gabe Richardson going to figure it out? When is he going to have kind of one of those breakout years? And I think, like, now's his time. Like, he's a senior. He obviously wants to go out and bang, but, like, if he doesn't get it done, Mateo Soli's coming.
Right.
And Mateo Soli has kind of made waves with, I talked to Dorian Gerald earlier in the preseason. He just like went on and on about Soli, his quick twitch and just I mean, he's got a knack for getting wherever the ball is,
Right.
and he's going to make plays. So Gabe's got to be on his A game. I'm excited to see what Isaiah Nichols can do. Is that McKelvin again is not going to be able to stay on the field every play of the game.
Great point.
Isaiah Nichols, the kid that covered at Springdale High School, he's one of those guys that is going to refuse to be outworked, and I truly believe that. Like, that can sound very cliche, and I get that, but he's really one of those kids that he wants it as bad as he says he does. So I'm kind of curious to see how much of a jump he makes, and kind of same thing with Jonathan Marshall. Coach, I guess the strength staff, Tremaine Carroll said, he's the strongest guy on the team. We'll go prove it, more or less. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
like go make an impact on the field, and if he does that, if Jonathan Marshall's giving them pretty good production, and Arkansas defensive front, it's going to be looking pretty good.
Talking with Scotty Borland of the Arkansas Democrat Gazette. Scotty covers all Razorback information that happens on the Hill for us here on OTAs. Scotty, another position that I'm really excited to see maturation-wise is the secondary. You look at that, not one senior is in the secondary. You have Cameron Curl being the older statesman. I think he's the only junior, I believe, in the 2 deep. Talk about that and talk about the talent. And in your opinion, my question to you, Scotty, would be, has there truly been an influx of speed in that back end? Because you and I used to see over the last couple of years, Arkansas, the deep ball became something of a go-to play for other opposing offenses. Talk about that position and how much drastically improved it is from year 1 to year 2 under Chad.
Yeah, I think Chavis talked about it a little bit the other day. Like he said that he doesn't have any doubt that the secondary can be as good or better than last year, and he better hope that this secondary is better than it was last year.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, but you were talking about speed a minute ago. I don't think there's any doubt that there's more speed in this secondary, and I think it's because the guys are a lot more knowledgeable and understanding what they're being asked of. And Joe Fouché is kind of like he's kind of the case example that I use. Last year he was kind of thrown in, and he said the game was really fast for him because he was thrown in kind of more. But now he's like I said, he got his feet wet literally at the Missouri game last year. Got his first start, and now he's playing a lot faster. He's not having to think about everything that he's doing. He's just kind of playing with his instincts within the scheme, obviously. And that leads to guys playing with confidence. And when you play with confidence, you go and make plays. And yeah, I'm kind of curious to see what kind of season Jarquez McClellan he's going to have. And I talked to him during the summer. He's wearing number 4 this year to kind of honor a fallen role model that was murdered in 2016 out of South Florida. It's a really cool story. So he's playing with a lot on his mind, I think, and he just kind of wants to go prove that they played me a little bit last year, kind of out of necessity, but now they're playing me this year because I deserve to be here. And so, kind of curious to see how that's going to go, and also interested to see how Monteric Brown does. I think Jarquez and Monteric. I think those 2 guys could kind of be maybe the surprises out of the defense this year.
Real quick, got about 4 minutes left, and I want to get off into the special teams. Kind of thought when I looked at the depth chart, as we all thought that it went as expected. Connor Lippert would be the kicker and getting a lot of the kicking duties, but also too with the new addition of Sam Lloyd. We all saw with Sam coming onto this football team the importance and the added attention to detail from Reed Bauer. Talk about how strong that is. Chad feels really good about both, and said in our media day yesterday that we would see both of these guys on Saturday. In your humble opinion, Scotty, when all the dust settles and you have to name one punter, who do you think out of Bauer or Roy will be the lead guy heading into Ole Miss?
Yeah, I think a lot of that's going to depend on who kicks best on Saturday, but I'm not going to be surprised at all if like Sam Lloyd just kind of takes a step and runs with it. We've watched him in preseason practices, and you just look at the hang time differential between him and Bauer. It's honestly, it's like not really even that close, and the ball just looks good off his foot, sounds good off his foot. Hang times obviously has been impressive, and yeah, I would kind of expect Lloyd to kind of grab that role and run with it. If that is the case, It could be a situation where Bauer maybe redshirt. Don't know, but we'll see. We'll see. Lloyd was an all SEC freshman team pick, I think, at Vanderbilt.
Right.
So, but I mean, he's kicked in the league before, and we've seen what Reed Bauer's done. It hasn't been very impressive, but we'll see. It's obviously not up to us, but I would kind of expect to see Lloyd kind of grab it and run with it.
Now we got about a minute, real quick. What's the over/under? I'm gonna give you all of Arkansas's return team specialists between Rakeem Boyd, Davion Warren, Traylon Burks, Buster Brown, and Jalen Canlaw. What's the over/under as to how many either kick returns or punt returns that Arkansas gets in the 2019 season? I'm going to say about 5 total, because I think Traylon will do more of that damage in the punt return game, and they'll get a kick return. But I'm going to say about 5 for the season with that group of talented guys, making those type of plays. What's your over/under?
You talking about touchdowns on special teams?
Yes. What's the over/under? Either kick returns and punt returns combined. How many will this group, as a group, how many will they take back to the house?
Yeah, I'm going to go under that. I think I'm going to go probably maybe two, maybe 3. I really do like the kick return. The guys that got back at kick return, Davion's been, he's kind of been a spark on kickoff return every year that he's been here.
Right.
He kind of provides that. And adding Rakeem Boyd to that mix is pretty interesting too. I mean, he's got great speed, especially in the open field. So, if he finds a crease, he might be able to hit it and take one to the house. So that's a possibility. And I do like Traylon. I like Traylon Burks back at punt return, maybe more for his sure hands, because he really needs just to ensure possession. But yeah, I mean, he's obviously got the ability to make a guy miss and take one to the house too. I'm curious to see how early Montero Brown gets in there too. I like his speed a lot. I think Jalen Catalon's a little bit he's kind of like Traylon Burks in a way. He's got pretty sure hands.
Right.
So I think I'll probably go with 2, possibly 3.
All right.
If that's the case, that obviously gives a big lift to the offense.
Well, Scotty, as always, love having you on here, man. We'll catch up. You got to be on the A. We can't have an A without you on Friday, and then we'll get the keys to Arkansas and Portland State from you at that particular time. But I'll catch you over at the practice field here in a couple hours. But as always, my man, thanks for taking time out here on OTH.
Oh, you bet. I'll see you soon, man.
All right. That was Scotty Borderland of the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette with his takes on the Arkansas depth chart heading into the season opener. Ben Hicks named the starting quarterback. We caught up. We have more coach interviews. I believe we're going to play clips from offensive coordinator Joe Craddock. He's going to talk about the receivers, also to the quarterbacks. What went into the final decision to name Ben Hicks as their guy. We'll be back with much, much more. When we get done with that, you hear Demetrius and our takes. We're going to break down this depth chart, and I don't think you want to miss it. You want to make a call, you can do so at 479-601-7400. Let's talk Arkansas depth chart. What do you think? Are you liking the way it is? The true freshman? Is this a scary thing? Which way is it going to go? But we'll be back here with much, much more. This On the Hill with Pat Jenkins on KDSJ 479. You know what I say? Let's get it.
He went out every day and, led the guys. Nick was started with an uphill curve, honestly, because he got here a little later than Ben did. Ben went out and competed, did everything we were asking him to do. Has a great understanding of the offense and where we're at, especially going out there with a lot of young guys. And so we feel like Ben gives us the best chance to win right now because he can really get everybody going in the right way. Make sure that, if a receiver split out too wide, or a freshman receiver split out too wide or too tight, he can be able to move them around and make protection calls, help the offensive line, help the running back. So that's just kind of what we felt like gives us the best chance to win going into week 1.
Chad said that Knox may not practice again until Wednesday. With as much time as he's missed, how much can you count on him? And also, Colton Jackson, how much, what's his kind of status with his foot?
Yeah, with Trey, being here in January is really going to help him. If he would have just showed up in June, I'd be a little concerned about it. Honestly, I really don't have any concerns about Trey. He's very intelligent. He picked up our offense probably faster than any other freshman that I've ever seen. I mean, honestly, he'll be a little rusty, probably be a little out of shape going into the first game, but it's critical that we can get him out there and get him some live game experience. And so, hoping to get him back Wednesday. That'd be the ideal situation, to get him back Wednesday so he has a couple of days to kind of prepare and get ready. But he's in every one of Coach Stepp's meetings, going through the game plan and understanding what we have to do and his assignment. So I don't have any concerns with him. Colton, got a little bit of reps yesterday. He's slowly coming back.
It's On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio. It's our Tuesday edition of On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio. And yes, Arkansas has announced its starting quarterback, as Chad Morris yesterday came and met with us here in the media and let us know it's number 6 to try to get 6 each and every Saturday. Ben Hicks has been named the starting quarterback, and I want to kick it over and bring it into my producer and my co-host, Demetrius Johnson, as we look over the roster. Demetrius, Ben Hicks, starting quarterback. The roster goes at wide receiver, sophomore Mike Woods. At tight end, if he's available to go, will be Cheyenne O'Grady. Otherwise, you'll go with Grayson Gunner. At left tackle, if he's able to go, Colton Jackson or Myron Cunningham. I would assume Myron Cunningham you'll see on Saturday. Austin Capps will be taking over the left guard spot. Ty Clary will also be the starting center. I anticipate Ricky Stromborg, if and only if Colton Jackson cannot go. You have Myron slated at the right guard. He'll have to move to left tackle, which you may see a true freshman on Saturday. Number 51, it won't be Yelta Froholt. It'll be Ricky Stromborg. The young man may have a little lightness in the britches, but I'm telling you, the strike that he'll come off the ball with, you would not tell. It has no lightness in it. The young man has a streak that's really I think Ricky's going to be a great, not a good, but a great offensive lineman here at Arkansas. Big product out of Tulsa. Your young man comes from a great high school. Then at the right tackle, you're going to have Dalton Wagner, sophomore, starting. Ben Hicks, running back, Rakeem Boyd, Traylon Burks, true freshman, and the last wide receiver, Trey Knox, true freshman. Out of that starting lineup, D, any surprises that you thought someone might have been in a position in the starting spot, or what say you on the starting 2 deep chart?
To me, really everything looks as expected. I'm not really surprised about the Ben Hicks start. That was something I spoke about all summer, preaching about how I felt, and just the type of person Chad is. I felt that he felt being earned the right, just coming in early with spring and giving him that leadership role. I think that's really where Ben really won over the quarterback job.
Now, my question to you, how big is that, like you said, with someone that's been in the offense? You look on the roster, possible 2 true freshman starters, maybe a third true freshman at your right guard spot. How big is that if you're Chad, Coach Craddock, and the offensive staff to have a guy like Ben Hicks that absolutely knows this offense inside and out, and had a chance to come in the spring and kind of refresh his mind on the finer points of this offense?
Well, I think that's really why Chad Morris brought Ben Hicks in the program to start with. He wanted him to be that player coach on the field, knowing some of the tendencies that we had last year, because that was a lot of the problems last year. Guys lining up wrong, offensive line not really understanding the right reads. So Ben is going to be that player coach that when Morris can't get on the guys and put them in position, he's going to be the guys to really be the handler of the offense.
Also, too, when you look at it, you look at the wide receivers. Are there any surprises? At the positions with Mike Woods, Davion Warren to back him up, the junior. You look at Cheyenne O'Grady, Grayson Gunner, Chase Harold. Chase converted wide receiver to his senior year playing tight end. Out of those guys, and then you look down also, too, at your wide receivers, Traylon Burks, Corlin Jackson, or Tyson Morris, and then followed up with Trey Knox and T.Q. Jackson. You're talking about sophomores and true freshmen with one junior. So this is a really underclassmen group of wide receivers. Are you worried about that, or is this something that it's the maturation process, guys that can make plays and they just have to be given an opportunity?
Not at all. I really look down the roster and see a Chad Morris offense. These are guys, well, majority, I could say 60% of this offense right now is guys that Chad Morris recruited.
Right.
When you look at Ben Hicks, you look at Nick Starkel, you look at Trey Knox, you look at Traylon Burks. Yes, these were Bielema recruits, but Chad was the guy that actually bring these guys in. So when you talk about switching that roster over and getting the guys in that you want, that you brought here, I think you're really starting to see it from an offensive standpoint. These are all, again, Chad Morris's guys that are really making their start. So I think you're starting to see really his identity. So that's why I say a lot of what goes on this year on the offensive side is I'm going to look at it from an offensive play calling standpoint, because now these are guys that he said he wanted more height. He went and got more height. He said he wanted more speed. He went and got more speed. So to me, this is the basic foundation of years to come here at Arkansas.
Yeah, big note, 37 of your top 44 players in the 2 deep chart will be back for the 2020 campaign. And most of those same guys will be back for that 22 campaign as well. I mean, as we've always said, there's 52 underclassmen, sophomores, redshirt freshmen, and freshmen. And you can see. I mean, you can see the Chad Morris imprint with like I said, like you said, Demetrius, a lot of the guys that he's brought in here, being in the 2 deep roster. I want to flip over, really, Demetrius, to defense. This is the side of the football that I feel has the most experience and is going to be pretty much the backbone of this football team as a success and failure, and how far this team goes when we're talking bowl games. I mean, you have Dorian Gerald, McTelvin, TJ, and Gabe. These are all 4 seniors. You have a senior in the middle, and Scooter Harris. Those guys right there, because I'm real big on having a defense that's real strong up the middle. When you talk about it, Scooter, McTelvin, TJ, Bump, then you have Joe, and you have Cameron Curl. I mean, how solid up a middle is that? The Chief seems to be feel pretty good about that, the way his defense is shaping up. And for the most part, from what I've seen throughout camp, there's a lot to get excited about. In particular, like you said, the speed that's been, the infusion of speed on that side of the ball.
Definitely. I can speak highly on the defensive line. When you look at the defensive line, these guys all came with a resume here at Arkansas. Top to bottom. Even Gabe Richardson coming from JUCO college. He was a highly touted JUCO transfer. So I think a lot of these guys that Bielema recruited, Chad is really putting in the position to really run that defense. If you look at it, it's a lot of seniors here. So I'm expecting that defensive line to really take over the game and really dominate from a defensive standpoint, because the defensive line is the first line of attack, and they're going to make everybody else look good. They're going to make Bijan, his ability to play linebacker a lot easier. And then they're going to help Cameron Curl on that back end. So I think, again, the key to this defense is that pass rush. If we can create chaos on that front line, I think this defense can really create a lot of turnovers. And I think they're going to have that bend but don't break mentality, right, where, they may give up a couple of 200, 300-yard games, but it's going to be hard to score on these guys, I think, once you get in the red zone.
And I'm a firm believer. I've heard a lot of media and fans out and about town, talking about the linebacker core. From the camp that I've seen, from Hayden Henry, Grant Morgan, Devon McClure, better known as Pluck, Deion Edwards, these guys, bumper pull. These guys might not be the biggest in size as far as weight, when you're talking about Hayden 226, Deion 220, Grant's 229, McClure 219. These don't even Bumper 228. These don't look like your typical prototype linebackers in the SEC. But the one thing that I will tell you, speed and aggression is what I've seen throughout fall camp from the John Chavis linebackers for 2019.
I don't necessarily say I'll say speed, but I think this is my honest opinion. I think what gives Hayden Henry and Bumper Pool the ability to come on the field is experience, and I think they understand the defense a little bit more than like Devon that just moved over to linebacker, and somebody like a Day that just moved over from safety. But I think once you see the season play out, I think that the talent and the skill level is going to match up to where you see some of these 2 and 3 deep guys move up to the one position, because I just feel like, yes, you can know the defense and understand the grasp of it, but it's nothing like making plays in the game. And I think once the season gets started, you're going to see a lot of guys rotate in and out, because they're going to be playmakers on the sideline that have to get on the field for that defense to really cause havoc. And I'm really excited to see what Chief does, because to me, I think they can do some exotic things on that back end when you look at the linebackers and the safeties that they have with Fouché and McClure, Bumper. Those you said it right. They don't physically match, a SEC type of linebacker. But when you look at the tendency that they are smaller, possibly a little faster, you can put them in different defensive blitzes and exotic positions. So I think if Chief uses these guys in the right way, I think it can be a hectic defense.
I think what I like about the defense is it to me, having watched John Chavis coach defenses from the days at Tennessee, A&M, LSU, and now Arkansas. The thing I've always noticed is great defensive ends that can get a pass rush with a solid linebacker there in the middle and great safeties and corners, guys that can lock down and play that bump and run coverage. I think that's what, a John Chavis defense, and when you look at that, Dorian Gerald, Gabe Richardson, Mateus Soli, Jamario Bell, then you got your inside guy with Sosa. You got your two defensive tackles, and I think that secondary, with, as Scotty said in our last segment, Joe Fouché, I think, is going to have a really big season. And Demetrius, you know me, I'm a big Miles Mason guy. I think Greg Brooks is a guy that you really have to watch out for. Jalen Catalon, I think, is going to be a major contributor. And just that secondary, it's so youthful back there, Demetrius. So as we were talking off the air one day, if you look at the starting four, and it came down to, Oklahoma, Arkansas for Curl, Florida, Arkansas for Joe Fouché, Alabama, Arkansas for a Buster Brown, and Florida, Arkansas for a Pac-Man, McClellan. These guys, and then you look at behind them, LSU for Bush, Mississippi State, Arkansas for Greg Brooks, Texas, Arkansas for a Jalen Catalon, Arkansas and Oklahoma State type of thing, Malik Chavis and Ladarius Bishop. So you see where I'm kind of going. All these guys now, Arkansas beat out some Power 5 schools. These are the schools that are playing in the playoffs. And I think if you can get the type of players that play in those games, you want to recruit what other schools of the Power 5 are recruiting. I think in these last year and a half of recruiting, that's what Chad and his staff have been able to do. But also, too, when you look at it, last question before we wrap this thing up today, and we give you a little excerpt from, I think that's what we'll do before we get out of here. We're going to play John Chavis. Coach Chavis talks about his defense. We always like to bring it to you the way we get it, real and uncut. And we can't let you hear Coach Mo and Coach Craddock without hearing from the Chief and his side of the ball. We'll be back and wrap this thing up real quick with a few more thoughts, but here's the Chief. It's On the Hill with Pat Jenkins on KDSJ 479. Let's get it.
Forward. It'd be good to see Saturday, how far we've moved. There's no question that guys have put in a lot of work, and I'm ready to see them play. With that, I'll start taking questions.
We're going to mic to you. Right.
This offensive side of the ball, but your thoughts on Ben Hicks being named starting quarterback?
Well, I didn't even know that, but I'm happy whoever starts, and that's good, and that's great, and look forward to seeing him play well.
Hey, Chief, you got several true freshmen on your 2 deep. I know this was a pretty highly rated class anyway, but you're a veteran coach. What's it like having all those young guys on your depth chart? What kind of chance do you think they've had? And is this something you anticipated given your needs and those guys' connections?
Yeah, and I like to describe it like this. I enjoy coaching a young football team because when they're young, sometimes they don't know that they don't know. And they're going to go work hard and play hard and do those kind of things. And I've been around, at other stops where, we were every bit as young as this team is. And, certainly, they grew into to really good football teams. And, that's what we intend to do here. With some of these young guys. Some of them are very talented. Some of them will get an opportunity to play early, and we got to have them. Depth is a big issue when you start looking around the SEC. If you don't have depth, you may play good at times, but when you get in some of those games where you got to play 69 to 89 plays, I just pull those off the top of my head there. But when you got to play that many plays, then you got to have depth, and ideally, we like to keep our guys to around 50 plays.
Coach, you will be running, or you said you'd be running a lot of 4-3 in this game. What about Portland State and their personnel that they want?
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. It's our Tuesday edition of On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio. And real quick, I want to give a shout out to all of our sponsors, as this would not be possible without the love and support of you all. And that being said, Lindsay and Associates with an office location in Fayetteville, an office location also too in Rogers. Corey Beck's Custom Painting, commercial, residential. If you want it to look good, call Corey Beck's Custom Painting. I'm pretty sure he'll love to come out and take care of you. And our newest sponsor, KDK's Chicken on 989 Razorback Road. Like they always say, it's not your mama's. The best chicken in the South. Go see Kathy and Keith and the gang. And I'm telling you, the best thing to get, chicken and waffles. Chicken and waffles. I'm telling you, it's to die for. And our last sponsor before we get out of here, Locomotion. It's located just below the Northwest Arkansas Mall. But that's going to wrap it up. For my producer, Demetrius Johnson, myself, our guest, want to give a thank you to Scotty Borderland of the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette for coming on here and giving us his take. We'll have much, much more. We're going to give you a little bit more of the Caravan. We had the bus. It's got all its maintenance, and we're going to be making our way back out in the last 2 days of OTH to bring you all the SEC roundup from fall camp leading into the SEC kickoff 2019 season from around the conference. But that's going to do it for myself, for Demetrius. Until tomorrow, you guys have a blessed one. It's On the Hill with Pat Jenkins. Let's get it.
Team God.